of time since last video, isn't it? I still have the Rover. I sold the Alpha 33 a while ago when I moved to Lisbon. And now I moved back to Portugal, but I don't really have a garage. I don't have a nice place to film and do things in my cars. I still do some things in my cars, but I wouldn't have the facilities to do that, so I farm most of it out. And at the same time, I thought it would be a bit boring for you to just watch videos about the Rover. But this time there is news, because as you might have noticed, because of the shape of this window, I'm driving a Citroen XM. I bought this car 2 months ago, and I've been able to justify this purchase because we are just starting a road trip from Portugal to the Netherlands and back. And since we'll be driving through France for a lot of miles, I thought it would make sense to drive a French car, and a comfortable one. We're even crossing Rennes, which is where this car was built. So yeah, exciting. When I bought this car, there were a couple of things that needed to be done. The timing belt has been done. I've changed all 7 spheres, cleaned, had the LHM and filters cleaned. I also needed to solve a big exhaust leak at the front, and the 2 back boxes, actually the center box and the back box, were rotten. So the noise was kind of sporty. The ride was very harsh, that's why I decided to change the spheres, and it's as it should now, I think. I think it could be a bit better when you go over potholes and that kind of stuff. But probably it has something to do with the age of these tires at the front. They are not a good brand, and they are kind of old. They are good enough for this trip, but they are not good enough for this car, if you know what I mean. Apart from that, actually it seems like a solid car. It always starts first time. In the miles that I've done until this road trip, 1,000 more or less, it didn't seem to use up any oil. Coolant is also, the level is stable. Really, I think it's gonna be okay. Despite the age of the car, it's a 31-year-old car. And not many miles on it, 150,000 K actually, kilometers. Not much. I forgot to tell you the engine, didn't I? Yeah, it's a 2-liter injection petrol, of course, with 130 bhp. I think that figure went down as they added a catalytic converter to it. It's not a quick car. It's good enough on the motorway. It has some torque, and it's pleasant to drive. The first years are kind of short. The gap between second and third is actually not big, so you're able to get it moving, but it's not a quick car. And the engine is a little bit agricultural. It's not like the one in the Rover, no. Twin cam, nah. Don't expect that here. It's a device to make the car go places, and it's a reliable device, let's put it that way. So yeah, what really stands out is how comfortable the seats are and the ride on the motorway. It's not a great car to drive in the city. I don't like how the throttle feels. The clutch and the gear change are not amazing. It's basically what PSA were doing in early 90s. It was not great, but it's okay. But it's a really great car to match the miles, and that's why I bought it. As for the trip, in this first day we are stopping in Bayonne, in France already. It's an 800-kilometer trip from where we are located. We are already 50 kilometers into the trip, and in about 100 we'll be crossing into Spain, I think. So, see you in a minute. I'm having to use my third visor. The greatest invention in human history. I'm kidding, that's sliced bread, isn't it? Anyway, it doesn't do much. It's really small, but yeah, that's a nice touch. They tried, I guess. Also good, with this sort of sun, is the shades at the back. I'll show you later. It's a really 90s thing, the shades divided in two. For now it's just boring motorway at more or less 110 kilometers an hour in order to save some fuel, because it seems to be thirsty. I'm yet to fill the tank and run the numbers, but yeah, I think less than 8 is gonna be impossible. will be entering a really long tunnel. I think it's 6 kilometers long. In a second. Let me just turn the ventilation off because we have a diesel for transit in front of us. Just a quick pit stop and let's go again. We are near Bragança. It's getting really hot and I'm gonna have to stop to take off my shirt. It would be good to have air conditioning, at least functional air conditioning. I didn't even try to get a charge on the system. I'm not sure the compressor would work and there might be a leak somewhere. But this is the worst day that we'll get, I think, because we're gonna be crossing France and then Belgium and the Netherlands, and I don't think it's as hot. One good thing about this car is because of the design, you have this surface, this window here, and you can open it a little bit and yes, it gets noisier, but it's decent. It's not as in other cars in which the window goes all the way until the post, the pillar. It doesn't get as noisy. Oh yeah, there it goes, the light again. We don't have much fuel left. I might have to just fill 10 euros worth of petrol in Bragança and then I'll fill the tank in Spain. Just left the kidney at the petrol station in order to pay for this fuel tank because look at that, 80 liters. We're gonna go for an early lunch and we're already going to places we shouldn't. 150 kilometers in and it's already mosquito land. Just 22 kilometers before Spain. I'm gonna get some rest and let my co-pilot drive for 1,000 or 1,000? A couple hundred kilometers, so I'm just gonna enjoy the comfort of these leather seats. I mean, I have seen squishier seats like the BX that I had, but they are still pretty good. Cool. I guess we should be joining some sort of carretera in a while, I'm not entirely sure. Well, this is already a carretera. I meant something a bit faster. Not that I don't like this road, but I'm not even driving. We've actually joined Autovia del Duero in the direction of Valladolid. You can say that the 2 liters exactly refined that speed because you can hear it quite a bit. It's not uncomfortable, but it's not exactly silent. We actually have to drive 60 kilometers on this motorway, which has no tolls, which is great. And yeah, just I think the driver is gonna have to make an effort in order not to fall asleep. It's finally a 120 km/h zone. ...232 kilometers straight. No getting off to another road, no nothing. Just driving straight for 232 kilometers. That's all we have to do now. And yeah, we're still 4 hours and 30 minutes away from Bayonne. I'm gonna replace the driver in a moment because this gets tiring quickly, especially because of all the heat. Even the cell phone is having issues with overheating, that's why I actually have it in my hand. Wow, it's busy at the moment. I'm trying to overtake this lorry, but yeah, now it will work. We ran into the first issue of the journey. I knew that the wheel alignment was not perfect. I mean, the steering wheel was a little bit to one side when you were driving straight. But with all the wind in these motorways, I found it weird that my Yeah, they are not perfect, the front ones, and they are kind of old. There might be some issue inside. I don't know. For now I'm just having to fight the steering wheel a little bit, because if I don't, what happens is this. The car just veers in the other direction, which is not ideal. Instinctively, when I brake, I don't see that sort of reaction. As long as I'm keeping both hands on the wheel, we're good. Although I'm gonna have to check this. As for the rest, everything is still going well. No overheating issues. I'm still driving well. Anyway, we'll see if this doesn't get any worse, and I'm gonna hope it's just an alignment issue. Of course, today is Saturday, so it's going to be difficult to fix this before Monday. We'll see. Anyway, second problem of the day. My co-pilot decided to pull the seat all the way down at the back of it, and then she couldn't get it back up. After a quick look, I've noticed that the motor was probably working fine. It was just the button, so I just swapped the button for the driver's side and they pressed it. We are 35 minutes distance from a supermarket in Vitoria, and we are also getting near our final destination. Actually, this is not far from France. This was a long leg. Guess you are already in your home country, old barge. Well done. That never gets old. We've tried searching for breakfast at this Intermarché, but it seems they don't have pastries and bread section. We're gonna have to find it elsewhere. In the meantime, look, a first generation Twingo. Well, that's kinda common here in France, isn't it? We have already departed Bayonne, which was very tranquil this morning because it's a Sunday morning. Now we're seeing even fewer people because we are in some route departmental, some 30-40 kilometers after Bayonne, going towards Poitiers. Really, everything is just going the way it was the day before. The car is still doing alright, didn't use up any oil, coolant is the same, so yeah, still have the same issue with I think it's the tire, because it makes that sort of noise as it's rolling as a flat tire, but it isn't flat. I know I can't do anything about it today, so I'm gonna have a look at it tomorrow morning, Monday. But yeah, it's a very nice day. Not as hot as yesterday, which is great for, well, traveling without air conditioning and to walk around the cities too. At the moment we have 152,529 kilometers on the clock. I think today we're gonna do around 450 kilometers in total, so it's a bit better than yesterday, which was 700. So not really a lot to say at the moment, except the fact that there was a lovely Citroen BX Evasion. Was it already called like that, Evasion? I think so. A Citroen BX brake. It was a diesel, it was running actually in front of a boulangerie in the middle of nowhere. Really cool. If you want to see that sort of old tat in relatively good condition, that's where you come to. In Bayonne there was a Peugeot 205, I think it was the 1.4, automatic with beige interior, very fancy. You really have to wait until you are in deep rural France to see more of that, because most cars around here are modern cars. This car isn't exactly making everyone turn their heads, but some people look at the car because of the plate, which is strange. It's black with the white letters and it doesn't have the B from Portugal, and the car is old and different, so yeah. We have just been stopped by the police. I mean, nothing in particular, they were stopping everybody, I think. But yeah, they were actually really nice. They just had a look at what we had in our boot and asked a few questions to see if everything matched up. The guy even asked, it's a collector's car, a bit. But yeah, it was interesting. Just remained calm, watched them do their thing, and on we go again. We're out of the motorway, because this next section had tolls and we didn't want to pay them. So yeah, it's a bit slower from now on, but we are more or less 1 hour out of Bordeaux, maybe a little less than that. Sunday, but it seems the ring road around Bordeaux is kind of busy. Actually, I've passed here before, and during the week, actually, I think it was the time people leave work. So it was actually worse, but still, I wasn't expecting all this. But we're moving nicely, so that's not a problem. I found the sweet spot for the vibration that I'm feeling that is related to the car pushing that side, which is more or less 95 kilometers an hour. So that suits as well. Anyway, that's it. We should arrive at Poitiers at 15 to 5. We are doing 110 kilometers an hour on this road that I don't know the name of. So I have to get out of it in 40 or 50 kilometers. My co-pilot has decided to sleep and use the capabilities of the passenger seat on the XM, and the back reclines all the way almost. So very comfortable. I wish I could do that. I forgot to tell you, a couple of kilometers ago, I've just seen the first XM in France since we entered France, and unfortunately it wasn't on the road. It wasn't a scrapyard, but it was a lot with a couple of cars that were obviously not running. And a bit before lunch, just 5 minutes before we stopped at the restaurant, there was a lovely Citroen DS. I wanted to stop and take a picture with it, but the owner parked into spaces, and yeah, we were really hungry, so never mind that, but the car looked in condition. Now yeah, we just have to tolerate a bit of boredom and putting up with some noise. We stopped at the service station and the car waited until we were getting off the service station and back on the motorway to show a message here on this panel saying that engine oil was low. As you can imagine, since I had space, I immediately pulled over, opened the bonnet, an old rag and check the level. Of course, you can't really check the level with the engine hot, but there's oil in the engine, at least. There were no signs of leaks anywhere. The other gauge here, it's showing much lower than before we started, but still within a reasonable level, I think. The engine is sounding okay, and the message 5 kilometers afterwards hasn't popped back up. So I don't really know. When we arrive, hoping we do arrive, I will check the level when the engine is cold and top it up if needed. I don't know if it just consumed some oil. The message came after a roundabout. I'm not sure if it was both things, basically oil level being a bit lower and at the same time that corner. That's all parked, I think.